Hey everybody, we are playing Ultimate Mortal Kombat 11 today. The day is come. The new update for Mortal Kombat 11 is out. And if you're unfamiliar, this update adds 3 new characters, Rambo, Melina, and Rain. So it's gonna be a good time. I've already had some time playing the new characters. But another thing that they added that you might not know about is custom variation for competitive ranked play. This is huge. I love that they added this. A lot of the customized moves were not available at all, and it was kind of boring. It was a bunch of moves that they designed and, just didn't use. You never saw them. So I'm going to play around today with a character that I really haven't, although I've wanted to. That's Nightwolf, and I really wanted to use him and kind of play around with the custom variations. And so what I'm going to do just right away is I'm actually going to jump into, if you're unfamiliar with customized moves, I'm just going to show you really quick. No, I don't want that. I'm just going to show you really quick what the screen looks like. So if you go to customize on the main menu, characters, you can go pick any of your characters right here, right? And then you can create a new variation, or you can choose one of these existing variations. And then when you go into it, swap over to abilities, and all of these moves are available. Some of them take up 2 slots. You'll see Rising Tomahawk here. You'll see in the bottom left-hand corner it says 2 slots. You also see right next to the icon, the picture, it has 2 little dots, and that indicates that it takes up 2 slots. There are some things that conflict as well. So I'm going to be talking about Nightwolf. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about Moonfall. I love Moonfall. I think it actually makes Nightfall a very unique, very fun character, and I think it has a lot of strength to it. The problem is, it gets rid of his launcher, Rising Tomahawk. This is a big deal. Rising Tomahawk is like the go-to for most Nightwolf players. They would say, understandably, why would you get rid of this thing? It's your only launcher, and you need to have it. I don't think so. I don't think you need to have Rising Tomahawk, and I really like Moonfall, and I would almost say that with Moonfall, potentially, Nightwolf becomes a better character than if he has Rising Tomahawk. So, I'm going to go into that today. Now, you can switch Moonfall around with some different special moves. I personally think that the ones I have on here, Tomahawk, Swain, Grappling, Stalker, make it so I think it's the best version possible of a Moonfall based Nightwolf. And as I go through the video, you will see why. Okay, so Moonfall. First, I want to go over what the hell is this move. This move replaces Tomahawk Launcher, or whatever the hell the Tomahawk move is. The main move that you use as Nightwolf to launch them in the air and get your damage. And you might be thinking, why the hell would I get rid of that? We will go over that. So, the command is the same as the launcher, down, forward, and X, or excuse me, I'm going to be using, so just to make it easy, I'm going to be using numerical. So this will change whether you're on Xbox or PlayStation, and I'm going to be going over 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 is front punch, 2 is back punch, 3 is front kick, 4 is back kick. Now, on certain consoles that changes, respectively. Just figure out what it is. I might even put it in the description to kind of help you out. But I'll be using the numerical system. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, Moonfall is down forward 2. You'll see what happens is he throws this axe, his Tomahawk, on the ground. And it just stays there. I believe it stays there for about 10 seconds. It stays there for a very long time. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So about 12 seconds. It stays there for a very long time. You get the gist. Now, he has 2 different versions, right? He's got his default version, which is the far version, and he has a close version if you hold towards him. Now you'll see I'm recalling it, right? I'm getting it right back in my hand. That's if you do the same command over again. So down forward 2, down forward 2. He calls it back. Now, the really cool thing about this move is if you throw it out and then you hit up and 2 at the same time, it calls it back and it hits them. It's a mid. Very, very good. It's also, as you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of the frame data, it is 10 frame startup. That means you come out of the ground, pop, it hits in 10 frames. That's very good. Most characters, a lot of characters I should say, don't have 10 frame mids. Nightwolf has an 11 frame mid. That's his fastest normal mid, is 11 frames. This is 10 frames if it hits right next to him. That's very, very quick on the recall. Now, if you're far away, so let's move this back here, right, and then recall it. It's gonna be a little longer than 10 frames, right? It's active for a long time, and so because of those active frames and the travel distance, it's gonna take longer than 10 frames, right, to come back. But you might be asking yourself, okay, fine, whatever, right? It hits them, gives me a knockdown. Why would I give up a full combo to just get that? That seems not very useful. Well, you'll see that this move opens up combos and is insane. That slight pop-up that happens right here, this gives you combos. If you're in the right range, this gives you combos, right? Bam. It pops up and it gives you damage. So you lose out on your ability to immediately do combos in most situations with the chunk of meter. However, you didn't gain the ability with Moonfall out to do meterless damage and convert. And here's the other thing about Moonfall, right? -5 is -5 on block, and I would say that's actually, in most cases, that's worst case. Sorry. In a lot of cases, you can actually get this sucker to be -3. Yeah, maybe it's not going to happen. But I've seen Moonfall -3 in certain cases. Right? There you go. -3. If you're like right on top of them with the Moonfall, bam. -3. That is a really good frame disadvantage to be at in Mortal Kombat. The reason why is you can steal a turn back with a down 1 easily. And if they're not on top of it, on their button presses, you can even get more out of it. Maybe a quick mid, maybe a throw, to stuff their poke. It's very, very useful to be only -3. Or -5 even. It's very, very good. So, you're going to want to know a couple quirks about this move though, Moonfall. There are a couple quirks about it. Mainly, when you throw your axe, you actually lose access to your axe moves. It's very odd. Most of your axe moves, I guess, is the best way to put that. So, when you have your axe, right, you can do forward 1-2. Great move, right? It's 13 frame mid. It's -7, but it's still safe. Very fast, good range. You also lose access to your back 1. That uses your axe. You also lose access to that. That is also a very good strain. You also lose access to 1-1-1. That loses your axe. So you don't have full access to this strain. And finally, Tomahawk Grab. Tomahawk Grab actually uses the axe, so you cannot do it when the axe is out, right? You'll just get stand 3. Now, this is annoying. It's annoying when your axe is out. You're going to have to be mindful that you can't do back 1, right? Like I'm doing back 1 right now. Forward 1, 1-1-1. Doesn't work, right? You're going to have to be mindful of those things. However, I do not think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal at all, right? You lose your 1-1-1, but you can just do this. And it ends in a mid. It's actually safer than your 1-1-1, and it's a meterless pop-up. You do lose access to your back 1, your forward 1-2. I think that sucks. But the strains that don't use this, that you're going to be utilizing, are going to be your 3-1-2, right? Still a very good strain. Your 1-1. And finally, your back 3-4. which is your quick mid, your 11 frame mid. Oh, I should say your 2-2 as well. You can use your 2-2, right? However, if you're using the, I think it's stalking grappler, the grab extensions, you cannot do this final part because you use the tomahawk here. So you just have to do 2-2, 2-2-2, or yeah, you won't get anything. Also, another kind of weird thing, right? You might be asking, oh, what about his uppercut? He does have an uppercut. They gave him an uppercut. He just does not use his axe. For some reason, it looks like it's a frame faster. I don't know why that is, but still an uppercut. You know, it's an okay hitbox still. Obviously not as good as with the tomahawk, but it's there. He also has his jump too. He just does not use his axe. And finally, he has his throw. He just uses his hand. So kind of a weird thing right there with Moonfall. Honestly, I wish that was something they looked into. I don't understand why they wouldn't just give him a 1-1-1 then, and give him his forward one or his back one. Just maybe like give it to him with less range, you know, or different frame advantage. I don't really understand. Maybe something NetherRealm can look into. Because why? I mean, you animated his throw, his jump 2, his down 2, but then you disabled these moves. I don't personally think that makes sense. Just do one or the other, you know. But something to be aware of. Another quirk about Moonfall is the further it is, right? We mentioned this, the longer it's going to take to travel back, right? So this is important to note. It's important to note the position of Moonfall, right? Let's say, for example, I set him to duck, right? You see it hits right there. However, there's certain distances. If you get too far, like let's say maybe 3/4 of this, maybe 3/4 of the screen away or whatever it is, Nightfall will go, or Moonfall will go at too high of an angle, and it won't even clip them when they're ducking, even though they're a mid. Right? It's a mid, right? So something to be aware of. If you get too far away, right, from your Moonfall, maybe something to think about, you know, applying pressure, getting them closer to the Moonfall so that it doesn't do that. Also, obviously you can use the close version of Moonfall to avoid that in certain situations. Just be mindful where your Moonfall is so that you don't get that situation happening. If you hit them in those situations, it's still going to give yourself a full combo, I believe, in most cases. Yeah, see? In a lot of cases, it'll still give you the combo. But if they're blocking, yeah, that can happen. Alright, so here's the important bit with Moonfall setups. Setups are incredibly important to Moonfall because it's a little bit slower to come out at 43 frames before you have access to the recall. 43 frames isn't terrible. You can get away with just doing this in neutral, quite frankly. You can get away with it, right? And then you can block whatever they have coming at you. They have to worry about it on the ground now. You can get away with doing it in neutral, right? You can even use it in zoning, really, if you want to, right? Throw it out, recall it, they get knocked down, throw it again, right? In a lot of cases, right, the knockdown advantage of this is pretty good, right? In this case, it's 23, right? 26. It varies. I've seen it get up to maybe 30 frames of advantage, which is pretty good, right? It gives you good ample time. It's knockdown to do whatever you want. You don't even have to go for another Moonfall if you want. You can just go in for just like a simple forward 1-2, button press, stagger, whatever you want to do. So it's not a terribly slow move on its own. However, you're going to want to set it up. Ideally, you're going to want to set it up, and that leads into why I think these special moves that I picked are probably the best version for Moonfall. Specifically, Tomahawk Grab, Meter Burn, right? 66 frames of advantage. Now, if you played Nightwolf before, you know that this move gives hella advantage, right? But now, with Tomahawk, that is free. Or with Moonfall, I should say, that is a free Moonfall. hit this, meter burn, Moonfall. That means you still have 23, if you do it frame perfect, you still have 23 frames of advantage in this situation before they can do anything, which is huge. You have a 11 frame mid. You have 3-1 that moves yourself in. You can even dash in 1-1. You can also sweep. You can hop overhead. You can do a lot of stuff after you hit them with a tomahawk grab into Moonfall. This is basically the bread and butter of this situation, or excuse me, of this variation. And you're gonna find that you're looping into this situation a lot. Another setup move for Tomahawk is going to be your back 1-3-2. Now, this move has a flawless gap right before the shoulder. That's something to keep in mind, right? It's still only -3, I believe. Yeah, -3. Really, really good. Very safe. It's got the low in there. It's very, very good. Now, with this move, right? Bop, bop, bop. You'll see at the bottom left, 47 frames of advantage. Very, very good. It knocks full screen, but 47 frames means you get a free toss. Bop, bop, bop. Free toss. And you're still +4. Bam. So, that's really good as an ender too. Right? And then they have to respect that. This is that situation where you can sit here, you can do arrows, or you can just recall it immediately and get the knockdown that you're looking for. Right? Those are probably the two best setup moves for Moonfall. I would say everything else exists and works, but it's going to be slightly negative, right? You're not going to get away with it for free. Let's say you sweep, for example, only 22 frames of knockdown advantage, which means you can do this, right? If you think you can get away with it, you can do this, right? You're still going to be negative, and you're going to potentially put yourself in a situation where they're going to be on top of their game and wake up with a punish. Alright, and then just before I close it out, I did want to mention one more move that you can use as a setup move for Moonfall, and that's his up 3. You can use his up 2 as well, right? But up 3 is ideal because it's got the range, and it can be very, very safe if spaced correctly. And it is 36, about 36 to 35 on hit, which means you get a toss, and you're only going to be about, -8, -7 if you get that toss just right, which, at this distance, not bad at all. Something to keep in mind as an option versus this, which is going to put him full screen anyways. Up 3 at the very least kind of gives you a setup opportunity afterwards, right? You can do up 3, toss your axe, do a setup. And pretty good in pressure too, right? If you just end up, coming in, doing your shimmies as normal, right? Maybe hop the down 1 as you're ending that, toss your axe. And then you're in the situation that you want to be. And you can react to what they want to do, react to a jump in, get the anti-air, whatever you want to do. And yeah, I just wanted to go over that. This video ended up being a little bit long, so I put some combos together, and I'm going to put those in a different video. I'll link them in the description below. But that is Moonfall with Nightwolf. And I think it's actually a really strong variation. I think that, especially with Tomahawk Grab, it vortexes into itself quite well. Your pressure is really good. Yeah. And let me know what you think. I really enjoy it. I really have been enjoying playing him like this. And I hope you guys have fun too. So with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Later.